Hi, friends. How are you? So, I am really passionate about building resilience, and I want to share what I know about it with each of you because I know during this time, this is really tricky stuff that we are going through. Being home all the time, being away from our work, being separated from people that we probably want to see, and being sometimes stuck in a house with people that are driving us crazy. So, resilience is going to be a really important thing. I wrote down today's ideas and thoughts because I thought sometimes people watching a video, that's easier. Sometimes reading, that's easier. I get it. You have a lot going on. So I just want to go through what I wrote and how I can share with you and hopefully introduce you to this book. There's 12 chapters. We'll go through it in 12 days. And then slow down after that and maybe spend a week at a time going through each chapter because it's really good stuff. So encourage you to buy it. Talk to Elena this week, and she's doing as much as she can to get the resilience work out there into the world, but encourages us all to do it as well. So I just love this book. And the first chapter is about knowing yourself, and that gets to the disposition of being purposeful. And there's so much in the chapter, but I think what really resonates the most is when we're not self-aware of what we're going through, how we're feeling, who we are, that can lead to our distress. That can lead to our triggers. Brene talks about it. Glennon talks about it in her book. I just got Jen Hatmaker's new book. So it's real. We got to know who we are and how we live in the world, and not just the superficial pieces of who we are, but digging a little bit deeper. So for our resilient speed dating, I invite you to do a couple of things. Name your values, write them down, think about them each day. Think about your personality and those in your house. Tim was a former Myers-Briggs trainer, and it isn't about who you are necessarily with Myers-Briggs, but who you are is how you interact with how the others are in your house. So that's important information. I shared a website with you that I love when it kind of distills Myers-Briggs down to 16 fun little characters. And then consider how you are in the world right now, right? That socio-political identity and how our positional authority and our positional power is really coming to light and to bear right now. Who is it that can work from home? Who is it that can put their thoughts and ideas into the world? Who is it that has the power to make things change? Just hold space for that right now, because I think that that's a big topic we'll come back to. But if you haven't thought about life in that way, I encourage you to think about it and just know that there's more to come on that, because especially as an educator, that's a really important thing. But as parents, I think it's also important that we're talking about that and whose voices are being heard right now. And then what are your strengths and how are they different right now that you're home? And is your purpose clear? Do you know why you get up every morning? And has it changed while we are at home? Because you should be getting up every day, right? And so if you don't have that purpose, it might make it a little bit harder. And then I go on to share with you my answers to those things here on the blog. My values are love and joy and service. And always that added piece of like challenge and growth. Like I personally want to grow. But I think that's tied to service. Like I want to be useful to people, and to be useful, I have to keep growing my skill set. And I enter the world in a joyful way because there's so much, right? Like why not? And just loving on the people in my life. You would be surprised to know that I am not an extrovert. In fact, it's not even the trait that is closest to the middle. I am an INFJ, and that has kind of maybe changed over time. I think it's getting to know who I really am versus who I'm supposed to be for a certain job, and then answering those questions in a way that gets at my true personality. And this website's really fun to dig into all of that as well. When I consider my socio-political position right now, I think about how education is going to be different next year. And what are we doing to ensure that what we're learning right now becomes a really good knowledge base for how we're going to reinvent schools? Because schools do need to be reinvented a little bit. And so this is an opportunity for us to do that, and making sure we're taking careful notes so that we can do that in a good way. But there's a lot there that I really want to think about. Equity and equality, and the way that we have our technology distributed right now, the way that our special education students are accessing education right now. There's just a lot on my mind in that area. My strengths, I'm really organized and I plan really well, which is really not what my family needs right now. They need to figure this out for themselves. I can be planful, but I can't do it for them. They have to have their own existence right now. And so I created an adult to-do list. And so I linked it here in the blog. And you'll notice that it's really about what I need to be doing each day. And then I'm just checking the boxes off when I'm done, to see what areas I'm not doing as good of a job in, and the things that I want to be doing. And so reflecting and journaling and writing, have not been doing those this week. So I'm on it. I guess I can write writing off for today. Does that get to count in both create something and write? Maybe. I'm taking it. Gotta celebrate your wins when you can. And then my purpose. My purpose is crystal clear to me right now. My purpose are relationships. And how do I help you? How do I help my family, my teachers, my school families, my students, me, to make sure that our relationships are staying at the center right now, and they're not becoming depleted or sad or dysfunctional because of the way that we are in this crisis. So even when we disagree, even when we're stressed, even when we don't hold the power, how do we show up in relationship with people and make sure that that is our core? So that is Speed Dating with Chapter 1 in Elena Aguilar's Onward book, Cultivating Resilience, Emotional Resilience in Educators, but it works for everybody. Knowing Yourself, Chapter 1. Talk to you soon.